Do you want to know how to become better at Call of Duty? Well, this is definitely the video for you. I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks for Black Ops Cold War to help you win more gunfights, overall have an advantage over your enemies, and of course, drop more of those nukes. Hey guys, what is going on? It is your boy J King, and today I'm bringing you guys more Cold War tips and tricks. If you use these tips correctly, you'll be walking away from this video being an overall better player, knowing how to have an advantage over your enemies in different situations and gunfights, and overall just become a better player and drop more nukes. Before we get into today's video, there are currently no shoutouts. If you want to shout out yourself, all you have to do is head over to my stream, jking_official on Twitch, get 1,000 channel points before next week's video, redeem the channel point reward for shoutout and YouTube video, and you'll be in next week's video yourself. Your link will be down in the description below. Also, if this video has helped you at all, consider leaving a like and a subscription. Ring that bell for more content just like this. So without further ado, let's get into it. So you guys might have saw the title that the meta has changed in Black Ops Cold War, and it has changed in a pretty drastic way. Pre-nerf slide canceling was absolutely the best movement methods for you guys to use. Basically, you were going to have an advantage in every single gunfight if you used it correctly, coming around corners, different things like that. But slide canceling has since been nerfed, and it's really not useful for you to use anymore. You're actually going to be putting yourself at a disadvantage in a lot of gunfights. So I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks regarding what you should be doing now in terms of movement and just overall tips for Cold War. So the first tip is obviously don't slide cancel anymore. The only really useful area where slide canceling is still useful is when you're going to be sliding behind a head glitch. Say you're coming up to a piece of cover and you know an enemy is going to be across from you. If you slide into that cover, then come out and slide cancel out of that slide, you're going to have a camera advantage over your enemy. Basically, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be seeing the enemy before they see you pop your head up out of that head glitch. Obviously, this combines with some of my older tips about using head glitches and positioning. But if you use this, you're going to be cameraing the enemy, and it's actually a pretty useful way to actually still use slide canceling. As far as other places to slide cancel, I would not really do it anymore. There's no real need to. Sliding is going to give you a pretty drastic sprint to fire delay. So you're actually not going to be having your gun up, and you're not going to be shooting the enemy as quickly as you used to. So overall, try to get it out of your muscle memory if you have used it, but there still is a good way to still use slide canceling and have it still be useful. The second tip also goes along with this sort of similar situation where you're sliding behind a piece of cover. If you are on a piece of cover and it's a head glitch, basically what you can do is a term called snaking. Now, actually, snaking has been nerfed. So let me explain what actually snaking is. It's actually not snaking that we're going to be doing, but it's something similar. Snaking is where you go in and out of the prone position very, very quickly. Basically, what this is going to do is basically going to give you a camera advantage over the enemy, similar to how the slide cancel works now. But basically, they're not going to be able to shoot you at all. And you're pretty much going to, number one, get information as you pop your head above the head glitch and then come back down into the prone position. And you're also just going to have an advantage in that gunfight if you choose to take it. However, snaking was also nerfed. They nerfed a lot of stuff about this game, especially in terms of movement, but there is a useful thing that you can still do that is sort of snaking. Instead of going into the prone position, you simply go into the crouch position over and over. There is no delay. If you play a game like CSGO, you'll know if you just spam crouch and you spam crouch that you're going to have a delay, and as you keep going on and spamming that button. There is no delay on this. You're just going to keep going up and down very, very quickly as you spam it. And it's actually pretty useful to use on a head glitch to, number one, get information, not have the enemy be able to shoot you that much, and then be able to take a gunfight and then catch your enemy off guard out of that position. And of course, you're going to be on the head glitch, which is super useful. So a useful thing to do on a head glitch is to pretty much just spam crouch over and over to get information and then take the gunfight when you want to take the gunfight. You'll have a camera advantage over the enemy and overall catch them off guard. The third tip is you actually don't want to sprint anymore. I know it sounds weird, but in Cold War, instead of the tactical sprint that was in Modern Warfare, they added a little speed boost when you start sprinting. So whenever you're in just a walking or maybe even like just standing still, and then you go to sprint, you're going to have a slight speed boost about not even a second after you start sprinting. And this could actually be utilized to get around the map a lot quicker. So instead of just sprinting and then, you know, just holding that sprint and keep running somewhere, you're going to want to keep spamming in and out of the sprinting position. What this is going to do is it's going to give you that speed boost over and over, and you're actually going to get around the map quicker than just straight sprinting. How you do this is pretty much as soon as you sprint, let go of the sprint button, keep moving forward, but then hit the sprint button again and then keep spamming that over and over. You'll kind of get the feel for it as you keep going, but you're going to be getting that massive speed boost, and you're actually going to get around the map a little bit quicker. The fourth tip also goes along with this. If you're going to want to, like, say it's the beginning of the game and you want to get somewhere really, really quick, run with your pistol out. Pistols overall have a better move speed than any main gun, so you're actually going to be getting around the map a little bit quicker. So this is really useful in areas where, you know, the game's starting and you want to get to a position really quick, catch your enemies off guard, or maybe the game's already started, but you know no one's going to be around you, and you just want to get into the action a little bit quicker. So stop sprinting, do the sprint spam, I call it. You're basically going to be moving around the map a little bit quicker, even though it kind of sounds a little bit weird. Now, the fifth and final tip is going to be another movement tip. And this is going to be still a way to get cameras on people coming around corners. Ever since slide canceling has been nerfed, that's really not a good way to camera people anymore. But there is still 2 ways that you can camera people around corners. That is going to be, number one, probably the most used one and most available one is going to be just sprinting and jumping around the corner. And then the second one is going to be ledge sliding around the corner. So jump shotting is just pretty easy. You're just going to be sprinting, and then as you come around the corner, you're going to want to jump. You're going to be moving at a pretty high rate of speed, and whenever you do that, you're going to have a camera advantage over the enemy. That's just the way Call of Duty works and has worked for a very, very long time. Whenever you're going to come around a corner and challenge someone, you don't want to be moving slowly. You don't want to be L-triggered in, or even walking, or even just sprinting, really. You want to try to get as much speed as possible, and jump shotting is number one. Going to give you a little bit of a speed boost as you jump across the screen, but it's also going to be harder for the enemy to adjust you jumping around. They have to move their aim up a little bit and then track you over instead of just holding their aim in one singular spot as you come around or walk around. So this is still a really good movement tip. This is actually more important now than it has been because slide canceling is not an option anymore. And the second tip, ledge sliding. If you watched the previous video of mine, this still applies. Basically, any sort of ledge, you can run, sprint, and then slide off of that ledge, and you're going to have a really, really massive speed boost. This dates back to Black Ops 3. It was in Black Ops 4 a little bit, but it's now back in Cold War. Obviously not as bad as Black Ops 3 because there's no jetpacks, but this is still another good way to get cameras on people, move around the corners a little bit quicker than usual, and just catch people off guard. Again, this is probably going to be the less used option out of the 2, just because there's not a ledge to slide around on every single corner, but use it when it is available. So anyway, guys, that is today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave that like, leave a subscription, ring that bell for more content, and I will see you guys in the next one.